Hello.
Hello.
So, just want to do a quick little Google Hangout on air. This is going on YouTube afterwards, showing how to use Inkscape to make icons. So, first thing, actually start Inkscape up. There we go. So I'm going to screen share the Inkscape window. All right. Now everything I see, you can see.
Yes.
So, document properties. I'm just changing something reasonable, squarish, and smallish. Okay. Now, one of the questions I just asked was how do you make a hole in something? So I'm going to make a square, and I'm going to make that square a path. Now what the path means is that instead of being a rectangle, now it has these nodes I can edit. Now I'm going to make another square, and just for visibility, I'm going to make it red. Do the same thing with object to path, which is on the object menu if you can't see that. So now I have two objects. So I have selected one, and select the other. So they're both selected at the same time, and path exclusion. So now what I have is one object with a with a path that's got a hole in it. So while the one path is disconnected, I have a hole that I can modify. So I'm going to back up because this was another case that came up. This is what happens when you have two rectangles. So same thing, change the second to a path, select them both. Path. Combine. So now I have one combined object, not two. And then I can shift select the main one after the little one's done. So up here on the path, select path exclusion. And once again, I have one path, one object with a hole in it.
I'm a fan.
Woohoo! And we can go for the D-pad. Now, if you want to see something really cool, and do this again. That's a path with a hole in it. What if I want to make arrows for these? So I'm going to do this, and then do a shift select here, do path, combine. Made the first one red, doesn't matter. Point is that this is now, again, one object with one path, but now it has a hole in it and an object for an arrow within it. I can replicate that for the different arrow keys and so on. Any questions?
I'm sorry. I didn't see you. How did you select both of the two rectangles of the cross?
Okay, so the keyboard doesn't come across so easily, so I'm going to talk about this a little slower. So make a rectangle. make another rectangle. And make this one just different colors so you can see I'm different. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, there's a shift one. Okay, so you don't even have to, I don't think, convert to path. I think it should do it automatically. Let's see. So I select the inside one, hold down the shift key, select the outside one, and see if we can do an exclusion. Here we go. So it's under path. Once you selected the two of them, you select exclusion. I don't think it matters which order you do them in because the exclusion is going to. It's a binary, not both, not and. So you saw when I just did this, the area over here and the over here that is unique to the green is kept when I do the exclusion. The only part that's removed is a part in the center of them, but they're now one object. So because they're one object, I can go through and edit them. Let's do some.
So so you have to make them both one object and then do the exclusion, correct?
No, they're separate objects first. They become one object when you combine them.
And
So-
then
Go ahead.
so you combine them and then do the exclusion?
No, you combine them if you want to actually combine them. So combine and exclusion are two options you can do to paths. So
Oh, okay.
if I select them both, shift select the purple, go to path, and do a combine. Where is it? Combine. Now I just combine the two into one object. But you see the hole's not there. That's the difference between combine and exclusion.
Okay.
I believe I can even do a. Yeah, union does the same. It's all these different path options. Make apart, simplify, reverse, difference. So there's also things you can do to use one object to manipulate another object.
Mm.
Are you able to do that yourself?
Yes.
Cool. Fantastic. Do you want to screen share and show it?
Sure. Just a second. Okay,
Wow.
I think I've done something. Can I screen share and show what's
Yeah, you
happening?
should. The screen share, if you move your mouse,
Yeah, I got it.
you got it? Okay.
Can you see Inkscape?
Yes.
Okay. So I've done the exclusion here, and so this is what happens. So I made this one object,
Mm-hmm.
and then so select all of it, right?
No. Select
No.
the inside one first.
Sorry,
The-
what?
Select the D-pad.
Okay.
Now shift select the outside black part. Yep.
Then exclusion,
Yep.
just like that. Okay.
And do one object.
I see.
You just do that to. I mean, you could do it to all of them at once. Probably. I don't think it limits you just to it once, but
Okay, so
you can try.
yep. And then, so what
And
should I do about these?
I would just make like a square or a curved edge square or something for that area. They don't. Oh, I don't know. You figure out with the grid how they look when it gets scaled down. You may want to work with the proportions. It doesn't have to be proportional to a Wiimote, obviously, but you want to make sure that when it's scaled down to 16 pixels across for the whole square, that
Yeah.
those little tiny dots are still discrete. Otherwise, I mean, they'll probably be a separate color when they get rendered, but even blue, you want to be able to tell the difference between which blue it is.
Mhm.
Um,
Um, so you're saying just make one square this long?
I would make a. You can overlay the lights on top of it. Just make sure they're on top.
Okay.
Or you can make a hole where those lights should be. Just make a wide hole the right size for the lights, and then position the lights inside of it. I mean, either way is going to work.
Um, oh, okay. So just make an exclusion, you're saying?
Yeah,
That,
just draw another shape that covers all four of the dots. Is what you
okay.
could. I'm not telling you this is what you have to do, and the lights could, because
Okay.
the lights will be a different color. The lights are going to render non-black on top of black, but they'll show up even
Yes.
better if there's a transparent hole where the lights are.
Okay. That's what I'll do then.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone else? You can, if you can't have a mic, you can also type them in the chat.
Um, so about the nunchuck,
Yep.
so would I just put that here?
You could put it there. Yes. Um,
And so would I make um, the border bigger?
well, these icons should be square when they're done, which means the same width as
Oh,
height.
okay.
You just
I,
want to position. I mean, the remote could be centered as long as there's room on the side for the nunchuck. This is really just a layout to play with.
okay.
Because when you hold in your hand, the nunchuck is to the
The
left of
left.
the left. It should
Yes.
be left on the graphic.
Okay.
Um,
And
but the nunchuck and the classic controller can never be seen at the same time.
so should I put the classic controller on the right, maybe?
You could, or you can put them right over top of each other.
Okay.
Um, that would save if you're making a chord. You don't have to make a chord, but if you were to make a chord, uh, you could make the same chord path work for both of them.
Hmm.
There's options there you can play with. Um, but if you think about it, a classic controller is going to be used by both hands anyways, so it doesn't really matter which side. But you could
Mm-hmm.
reuse the space if you're going to do the layout. You may not have
Yeah.
enough space to do the nunchuck on one side and the classic control the other, but this is entirely up to you.
Okay. So if I were to do that, then just put them on one side, then the controller wouldn't be in the center of the square, or would it still?
You could. It's a layout question for you. As I
Oh,
suggested in
okay.
IRC, you want to look at grid that is 16 by 16 on your box that you're editing with, so that you can see what the size of the pixels are going to be like when it gets scaled really low.
Yeah,
And that will give you some idea for layout. If you make it too close together or make the buttons too close, it's just going to turn into a gray blob.
mhm.
You may already have that issue with the A button, maybe a little too close to the D-pad, for example. But
Okay.
you can play with that. That's entirely the parents' thing to just toy with. Um, you don't these icons don't have to be scale models of the actual device. They just have to be identifiable by the user that this is a Wiimote.
I see.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
when they're seeing the list of devices that are connected and they're trying to arrange which device is on which player, the Wiimote should be a Wiimote, and they should be able to see from the Wiimote which light is lit up on that Wiimote,
Okay.
or which combination of lights, even potentially.
Okay.
Okay.
That's about it for me.
All right. We can close out then. Hopefully,
Okay.
hopefully this video helps out future students too.
Yeah.